Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and I'm back for another Wolf Among Us 2 video. And in today's video, my friends, we're going to be discussing our first details in the Wolf Among Us 2. The story, characters, plot, episode release pattern, how many episodes there will be, all the details we got in this Game Informer article I am going to discuss in this video. If you guys want to check the first look at the Wolf Among Us 2, the first images of it, down below in the description card in the top right at the end screen of this video, there's a video that's called Wolf Among Us 2 First Look. I did that video yesterday where I talked about our first look at Bigby and Snow and the Wolf Among Us 2 as a whole. This video, we're going to have a lot of the details, and there is a lot of interesting stuff you're going to want to stay tuned for. You know, a lot of stuff. So I'm going to reference the Game Informer article. I'll throw a link down below in the description where you can check out the Game Informer article if you want to pick it up yourself. If you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you're new. Join about the near 50% of people that are subscribed by hitting that subscribe button. Help us how to hit 320k. As well as, please be sure to hit that notification bell with all notifications on. We're trying to hit 100,000 people with all notifications hit for the channel. We'd greatly appreciate that. So thank you so much for the support on yesterday's video. I do greatly appreciate it. And if you guys want to see more Wolf Among Us, keep it up with the support. I will try to get more and more videos out as we get into the new year. I also want to wish everybody Happy Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas. I don't think I'll be uploading tomorrow because it's Christmas. I'm just going to take the day to relax. But wishing y'all a fantastic holiday season. So we're going to get straight into the video. Hope you guys enjoy. So, the first steps. Stabilizing the Telltale catalog was priority 1. With many of its original titles pulled from storefronts, the new Telltale brought them back. The next step was developing a game. This would chart the path for Telltale's new future. One where Otley, this is Jamie Otley, the new CEO of Telltale Games, and the leadership team would try to prevent the problems that once plagued the studio's original iteration, problems that ultimately led to its demise. Telltale's first big reveal happened at the Game Awards 2019, a trailer for The Wolf Among Us 2, which was technically in development at old Telltale before the shutdown, as reported by VG 24/7, but was back again as a completely different sequel. It was intriguing, but when your catalog includes franchises as large as Game of Thrones, choosing to return with a sequel to The Wolf Among Us, a much smaller IP, comes off as a bit odd. The choice to do so, though, was clear as day for Otley. Now, I would disagree with this. You know, a bigger name such as Game of Thrones, yes, that is more recognizable, and a lot of people would be interested with that, but The Wolf Among Us is an IP, despite being really small, is one of the most popular Telltale franchises, and one you've seen the hype for it. I believe this is one they had to. No offense to Game of Thrones, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, Batman. I feel like this is the one that should have been made, and I'm glad that Telltale's first game back is going to be this one. Wolf is a smaller IP, yes, but it's also one of the more successful titles of former Telltale, and that's what I just said. And this sequel is something fans have been waiting for years. Like I said in my last video, 7 years. Otley says it's also a good connection point to what Telltale was right. We should communicate with the audience that's out there and let them know, hey, we hear you and we can't do everything you're asking for, but this thing that you're asking for, we can do this, and so we did. And there's the look of Bigby and Snow I showed in yesterday's video from the magazine. Refreshed with a new look and refined art style, The Wolf Among Us 2 will feature the same Bigby Wolf and Snow White you know and love. We talked about that in yesterday's video, so you can check that out, but they look really good. Wanting to do right by the first game and the fans that loved it, Otley reached out to Ad Hoc, a company formed in 2019 by former Telltale creative directors, cinematic directors, and writers, many of whom worked on the first Wolf. Ad Hoc became collaborative partners on the sequel. The new Telltale, which today is made up of 50% former Telltale employees, is developing Wolf 2, handling game design, programming, mocap, and more. But Otley wanted Ad Hoc on board as the creative team. So that is very interesting. Like I told you guys in the past that Ad Hoc, I think, was working on the specific story stuff, and Telltale was doing all, like I said, the design, programming, mocap, that kind of stuff. So you've got the original writers and all that, people working on the story and all that, script, all that. And then you got Telltale with 50% of its old employees now working on all that other stuff. So, very exciting. When we joined the project, one of the first things we agreed on is that we didn't want to reboot things. Ad Hoc CEO and co-founder Nick Herman said, "There's plenty that will change, but it's always in service to the original vision for the project. As much as we love Season 1, we remember all the pieces that fell short or not pursued due to a variety of technical or creative constraints." So if you guys have watched a lot of videos, you're aware that Telltale used to develop episodes in development while the game was in progress. So for example, episode 1 would release and right after episode 1 release, they would begin work or continue work on episode 2. This Telltale is going to be different. They will have the full game developed before episode 1 even drops, so there will no longer be revisions they make, and I think that's why there was a lot of stuff that was cut, a lot of changes made because it was rushed. You know, Telltale had to change things on the fly based on fan feedback and stuff. And again, they don't feel that anymore. They feel like, hey, we're going to make the game. We're going to let it all out. You know, we'll still maybe release it periodically through episodes, but hey, we're finishing it all in one go, which I think is a smart decision on their part. With new studio leadership and an upgraded engine, we're able to revisit a lot of those conversations and take bigger swings. So if you watch cut content videos on The Wolf Among Us 1, I believe some of that stuff is going to be brought back and is very interesting. There's a lot of cut content in The Wolf Among Us 1 through my research on YouTube and articles and stuff that I've done. Yeah, there's a lot of cut content. So they're going to be revisiting some of that in this sequel, which is very, very exciting to hear. There were still many questions on the table. However, art style, keep it similar to the first, Otley says. Story, the team opened to pick up 6 months after the end of Wolf 1 and set it in the winter. So there you go. The Wolf Among Us 2 will be set 6 months after the original's ending. Very, very exciting. And they're going to keep the style similar to the first game, which is why you saw those images. Yes, this game is going to look very similar. Even though it's on a new engine, it will look very similar to the first Wolf Among Us. And characters, Bigby Wolf, of course, Snow White from the first game, the engine, it was time for a change. So we're skipping a little bit over. We'll discuss some of the other stuff in a separate video about Telltale, you know, about their new development model and stuff, but this is mainly about Wolf 2. To be excited about a game with Telltale's name behind it, even if those games don't come out as often as they used to, that starts with the script and finding the right people to write it. It's why Ad Hoc is helping develop Wolf 2. We can do a lot of script iteration when we're not paying 400 people to kind of contain that, Ellie says. It's so helpful in terms of the process because we don't want to move forward until we're heading in the right direction with our story. Perhaps one of the biggest changes with new Telltale is the way its games will be released. Previously, Telltale would release an episode and spend however much time it is needed to get the next one. But history shows that approach often led to crunch that resulted in waning interest over time, as we did notice. Despite the popularity of games like Batman, The Walking Dead, Minecraft Story Mode, all those games, the sales were significantly down compared to past iterations. It's insane. I'm going to throw up a chart right now, and you can look at the numbers of why this is kind of important, what he just said here. So you can see, look at the graph. Walking Dead sales, 3.5 million. But then you go Wolf Among Us, about 1 million. Walking Dead Season 2, about 1.5 almost. But then after that, it starts going down. Tales from Borderlands, Game of Thrones, Minecraft Story, Michonne didn't even go over 500,000 people. Batman, even almost lower. Walking Dead New Frontier, about as low as The Walking Dead Michonne. Then Guardians of the Galaxy, way down. Minecraft Story Mode, Season 2, way down. Batman the Enemy Within, surprisingly one of their best games, way down. Which is insane. The numbers just, it plummeted. That's why their sales, they were losing money making some of these games, which is so sad, considering that they were very, very good still. Otley says players can expect Telltale Games to be essentially done when the first episode is released. This means players won't need to wait months to see what happens next in the story. This is big right here. Telltale will announce its release schedule ahead of time. So you remember how they did the final season? They basically made a tweet out, hey, this is when all the episodes are coming out. Obviously, that was changed because Telltale went bankrupt, but it's going to be just like that. They're going to tweet out all the episode release dates ahead of time before episode 1 even drops. This means players won't need to wait months to see what happens next in the story. And fans will only have to wait a couple of weeks in between episodes. So probably every 2 to 3, 4 weeks, maybe about a month at the most, will have to be the wait points, which I think you should be very happy about. We won't have to wait 2, 3, 2.5 months. I mean, you people that used to watch me on The Walking Dead, A New Frontier, Batman, you knew some of the waits between the episodes. Yeah, it was painful waiting a couple months. Ad Hoc CTO and co-founder Dennis Lennart says having an entire season written, in this case Wolf 2, before production begins is very new, and it's something the Ad Hoc team greatly appreciates. This completely changed how high-level decisions were made and allowed us to better plan the design side, especially for aspects like choice, cadence, and pacing of gameplay, of which there is more this time around. So You know how the final season was introducing gameplay. Wolf Among Us 2 will hopefully be a step beyond that. We'll have a lot more gameplay involved now. Hopefully, maybe you'll be able to fight as Bigby. That's one of the biggest things I've really been looking forward to. And I think I made a video like a year or two ago saying 10 things I want. That was one of my top things. Choice cadence basically means the rhythm of choices. Maybe that means choices will matter more. We'll have to wait and see on that. Obviously, we all know Telltale has a crutch for having, you know, games where choices in the end don't really mean that much. So, you know, it's especially hard when you're accounting for player choice, but now that we have more than 8 weeks to create an episode, we can prioritize things that previously would have been a luxury. Huh. So that's interesting. Now, that gives us a view of what's going on. So they have about more than 8 weeks to create an episode. So probably about 2.5 months to 3 months per episode. So that is very, very interesting. And based on how things are going, you have 5 episodes, everything, you know, being designed. Hopefully this game will be out by the end of next year or early 2023. Ali says this new release schedule format is another thing that will help keep crunch out of Telltale. Put bluntly, Ali says no crunch is a core belief in the new studio. He wants to avoid mismanagement, choosing instead to empower employees to work during work hours and go home and enjoy their lives when their shift is up. You're a better person that way, he says. So the last section on The Wolf Among Us 2, the return of Telltale and Bigby Wolf. Months of pre-production work accumulate into The Wolf Among Us 2 trailer that aired at the Game Awards 2019. Otley called it a defining moment for the studio. That night was pretty special, Otley says. It's the night where we all felt we were in the right place and the right time. We were going to make this happen. It went so well, we got a standing ovation. It was a moment of vindication. It was a moment where this journey had really paid off. Now, 2 years later, Wolf 2 is in full production. The script is finalized, and mocap is underway. This is a big, big step. If you follow these games, that means we are nearing the end. There is a realistic chance that this game could come out near the end of next year, meaning we could finally be getting this game in our hands. Hallie says fans can expect Wolf 2 to answer some dangling questions, but not all, as some are better left ambiguous. Will that be the ending of Wolf Among Us 1? That's a good question, because a lot of people are curious about that. Ad Hoc explained a bit on what players can expect, though. Wolf 2 takes place after Snow White steps in as Deputy Mayor of Fabletown, which gets us closer to where the comic starts. But Bigby is still struggling to make the transition from the typical fairy tale villain to sheriff and protector. Herman says this season explores more of the nuances and difficulties of hiding in plain sight, dealing with mostly new fables, so we will have a bunch of new fables and characters taking place all over New York. The city at large definitely plays a bigger role this time around. Creatively, it has had the most time in the oven out of any Telltale game ever, so we are probably expecting the highest quality Telltale game ever made. And you know, we were starting to see the improvements in the final season, but we could see there was, you know, a lot of cut stuff in it too. So I am so excited to see what they have here. Personally, I'm excited for fans to have a chance to explore its new themes without revealing things. It's even more about the human experience of being a fable, which, like the comic, strips away the fantasy and leaves the players with a lot of uncomfortable and messy decisions to make. So we're going to have a lot of tough decisions in The Wolf Among Us 2. That is what I am most excited for. But that is pretty much all the information we have on The Wolf Among Us 2 in the article. There's some stuff on the Expanse, as you see down there, Into the Expanse, that we'll be talking about in our video. So let me know down below in the comments what in the video I referenced the most that you're most excited for. This is going to be the biggest Telltale game in terms of content, quality, a lot of other factors. Choices might matter a lot more, and the amount of effort being put into this. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch y'all in the next video in a couple days, discussing either Telltale, The Expanse, or we might discuss some more Wolf Among Us stuff. Stay tuned for that, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.